Welcome, Kim. I'm so excited to have you on the podcast today.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yay. Okay, Kim Peretz is a best-selling podcast host, author, and content creator. Her podcast, Claim Your Power, has ranked in the top 5 on Spotify's charts in the US, UK, and Australia, amassing over 4.5 million downloads and reaching listeners in more than 100 countries. As a powerful voice in the self-growth space, Kim has built a digital community of over 400,000 across social media, using her platform to spark transformation, ignite self-worth, and empower women to step fully into their power. She is also the founder and visionary behind the Claim Your Power membership. It's awesome. A thriving self-development community that supports hundreds of women around the world in stepping into their confidence, magnetism, and purpose. So Kim chose to stop drinking as a teenager when she realized alcohol wasn't serving the spiritual path she was meant to walk. And since then, she's devoted her life to living in alignment with her values and helping others do the same. So Kim, I'm so excited to have you here today, and I have loved your podcast for years. I was fangirling before the episode started recording, guys. I'm pretty sure I'm an original gangster. I was saying I think I was one of your very first listeners when she didn't want to be as visible as she is today, but she has grown it into something so beautiful, and it's like I'm almost like sitting over here as like a proud mama bear because you're so young, and I'm like, it's been so beautiful to watch the growth and your community. So I want to talk about that later, but I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for your podcast. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for, being seen, allowing your soul to be seen. So again, thanks for being here.
You're going to actually make me cry because I'm a Cancer rising and I get so emotional. And first of all, guys, Caitlin is so beautiful and you're also lucky to have her as a host. She's amazing. And I'm so happy to just witness your energy, and thank you so much for having me on the show and part of your space.
I'll start with a question, and I just wanted to say thank you for saying that. For Kim Peretz to say that she loves witnessing my energy, I'm like, she's the energy queen. When I think of someone who has great energy, you have a queen crown on top of your head at all times for me.
You do.
So to hear you say that, I'm like, oh, I've received that compliment. Okay, so I just want you to take us back, and wherever you want to begin, whatever age, but when did you decide to not drink anymore? Was there a moment when you knew this is my path and I can't afford to numb it?
I think as I started to get more spiritual, because I had my spiritual awakening when I was 16. And when I was in high school, you were going out to parties and you were drinking underage and you were doing all of those things. And I would just realize how much it impacted my mental health, my physical health, because I was kind of in a dark night of my soul back then in that period of my life. And I was taking a very deep look at so many aspects and areas of my life that were impacting me and impacting my connection to myself. And one of the biggest things with alcohol that I noticed about myself is that it really weakens my aura. I felt like it was used as, I want to say, a mechanism to hide myself in social settings and things like that. Because, when you drink, maybe you're feeling more social and more open. And I realized that I was drinking as a teenager, and not that I was a crazy drinker or anything, in case my dad or my mom are watching this. They're like, what did you do in high school? But just so I'm saying, at the time, I just really realized it was weakening my aura, and I kind of took a vow to myself that I'm not going to drink because it doesn't really add anything to my life. And I decided that I want to be really focused on my wellness path, my self-development path. But I think it comes with a lot of resistance sometimes, especially when you're young and you have people pressuring you, why aren't you drinking? And, I live in New York, and there's a big culture for going out and restaurants and bars and enjoying yourself. And I really had to get really deep with myself and understand what is my true reason why I don't drink alcohol, and stick to that and stick to that integrity and being loyal to myself, even though maybe it's not convenient for other people or goes against the status quo. Because I think at the end of the day, everyone should do what's good for them, but I just know from my body, it's not serving me. I like to wake up in the morning and have a fresh mind and feel healthy. And I think that alcohol just really, not even from a health perspective, from a spiritual perspective, in my opinion, really weakens your spirit. and I want to have a strong spirit. So I actively try to make choices and create and facilitate habits in my life that are going to help me have a stronger spirit and stronger energy.
Yes, and I love how you just talked about finding your why, because I think people like you and like me, where I call them high bottom drinkers, like you didn't have a rock bottom. You didn't have a point where it was like, oh my gosh, I got in trouble from drinking. You're even saying right now, your parents had no clue you might have even been drinking a little bit underage. It's one of those things where it was a personal choice, but you had to come up with, why do I want to do this? Because if we don't have a why, or if we're doing it for someone else, or if we're doing it because we think, it's socially acceptable to just be drinking and go along with the flow, we're not going to stop. And so I love that you came up with that spirituality and finding your center and knowing you wanted to be healthy in not just the wellness space, but your spiritual space. Yeah.
And the why is really important, I think, for everything in life, but especially when you want to make a decision that's a bit harsh, where you're cutting something out from your life in any sort of way. You really have to have a strong why, because you're not always going to feel motivated. And that why is what's going to keep you very stable and grounded in moments of pressure or moments where you're not feeling motivated to stick to your personal goals or aspirations. And I think with anything in life, the why is so, so crucial. And for me, like, if I don't have a strong why for something, it's not going to come to fruition well for me. Like everything that I've manifested in my life that has been so big and so beautiful, or even small and mundane things, like there was always a big why behind it. And that why always somehow I find has to be like connected to your spirit, because that's what creates longevity.
Yes, and I love how you talk about how you just recently moved to New York City and you found your apartment, and it was coming to, well, why do I want a beautiful apartment with big windows and lots of light? Well, because it makes me feel good. And I think so many people don't listen to the feelings surrounding why they're doing something. And I also love that you said it doesn't have to just do with alcohol. It's, why do I want to give up vaping? Why do I want to give up overusing social media? For some people, it's relationships and sex. And I talk a lot about that on this podcast. It's not just alcohol used as an agent to keep us from that.
Yeah, there's a lot of distractions that I find that are just all around us, that are constantly trying to pull us into lower states of consciousness. The news, social media too. I don't know if you relate to this, but I've been having a really hard time with social media recently, because on one hand, I love it. It's my baby. It's the source of so many of my blessings. I have an amazing community. It's my job. On the other hand, like, it can be so draining to open your phone and you're just blasted with what's happening all around the world and the news, and this person just got engaged and this person's in Italy, and it's not natural for our nervous system to be connected to so many people. And I've actively like removed people from Instagram, not out of like hate or anything, but simply because I want to have like a clean Instagram, and I'm always redoing it and like always removing and always cleaning it out, because how we're on social media every day. And something that I've been doing the past few weeks is just taking social media breaks on the weekends. Like I turn off my phone Friday, Saturday completely, and I'm just present. And that's something that I've done the past 3 weeks because I really felt like I needed it, especially in New York, which is like a very high stimulating place. And it's been amazing to like have that one day a week. I don't know if I'm going to do it forever. I don't even know if I'm going to do it this weekend, but I did it the past month, and I just felt like it re-cleansed my energy.
Oh, Kim, you're speaking my language. I don't know if this is something universally happening to all of us. I do think it is a combination of the news and the current events that splash on us. But it's also, like you said, those soul-sucking accounts where it's like, do I really need to be seeing this right now? Or even, like you said, do I need to be looking at someone else's present or someone else's past? I think that all the time. Social media is in the past. Everything that's posted is actually something that happened in the past. So you actually aren't focused on the present moment.
Yes.
And that boggles my mind, because I'm like, holy shit, we're all sucked into this thing that's bringing us out of the present. And that's what you're saying right now. So I love that listeners can hear this, and you can get this from Kim's community, from her podcast. Her words of wisdom just spew out. So I'm just going to drop that for a sec.
Thank you. I'm so grateful for that. And I also just want to say that I think it comes down to being a conscious consumer, because I go on social media and I'm trying to create, but then suddenly you're sucked into this consumerism, and you really have to have like self-awareness and self-control. And then you can relate this also to alcohol or any other habits that you're trying to cut out. Having that self-control of, okay, I'm deciding that I'm not gonna get sucked into this because I know it's gonna end up depleting my energy. That's something that my therapist actually taught me like maybe 4 years ago. She told me a really good piece of advice. She was like, ask yourself how you're going to feel after the fact, not before it. So before you send that crazy text message or make that impulsive decision or go to sleep really, really late when you know you have to wake up early, ask yourself how you're actually going to feel after it. And that brings your mind back into this conscious state where you can make a more aligned decision for yourself.
Yes, that is exactly what it's like to not drink. I always say I never regret not drinking the next day, but it's because I've actively played the tape forward. How am I going to feel if I have this drink? And I love that you're saying to do that about going to bed early or whatever it is. How am I going to feel after I open social media? I've blocked out 2 times on my calendar where these are the times I'm going to go on social media, because if I just open it all day long, I don't feel good. And really actively asking yourself, I love that. Yeah. How am I going to feel after? And the other thing there is take a break from something long enough to realize how you feel after. So a lot of people, this is with drinking specifically, but could also be applied to social media or anything else. How do you feel if you take a break? You'll never know if you don't just try the break. And I just try to encourage people to not think they have to dive in 100%. All the way in, just take a break. Okay, so you've been in some pretty cool circles. Obviously, like I said, you've grown this to be such a beautiful, big thing, and you're getting connected with lots of people. You now live in New York City, so there is a pressure around you to socially, like you said, be out and be offered cocktails or to go out and drink. So do you ever feel uncomfortable not drinking alongside your peers or people that you're out with? How do you navigate that?
I'm going to be so honest, I don't. Just because I know how important it is for me to feel good, and I think I've like reached this space in my life. It wasn't always like this, but a place now in my life where I know myself enough to know what's right for me and what isn't, and I actively seek to be more loyal to myself than some external pressures. But
beautiful.
I definitely understand the pressures, and I've definitely witnessed it. Also in California and New York, in a lot of places where there's, I'm in my 20s, so it's a big distraction, and there's a lot of people that are into that, energy. And there's absolutely no judgment, because I think everyone is on their own path. But I just think when you know what path you're on, it's kind of harder for other people to sway you off of that path, because you know where you're headed and what's right for you.
Yes. And like we were saying, kind of either play the tape forward or look forward. What is your why? And if you're going out and you're with friends and you're in a dinner setting, you get offered a drink, you say no at first, you might get a few side eyes, or you might have somebody, not at your age, but at my age, people are like, what, are you pregnant again? And it's like, no, I'm not. You pass. And then after that, nobody cares. I always say nobody cares what's in your glass. They care what they're drinking. And if they do care what's in their glass, it says more about their drinking than it does yours. If they're a pusher or they really question you, it's because they actually have questions themselves.
I was honestly going to say the same thing, because I find that most people don't really react. When you say it, they might just ask you why, and then you could just be like, oh, I don't feel like drinking, or I'm not drinking. Most people are not going to have this like crazy reaction. They don't really care. And the person that's gonna have a crazy reaction and like shame you for it, be pushy for whatever decision that you make, is not a person, in my opinion, to like take advice from. Because to push anyone and shame anyone for any decision that they're making in their life feels very not your business. And so if someone feels the need to do that, I think again it's a big projection about where they're at in their own journey and less about me. And I think something that I just had to learn is like, stop taking things so personally. To stop taking things so personally and to really be loyal to yourself. Because again, I'm in New York, I'm seeing a lot of different people, a lot of different circles, and you really have to learn how to balance the spirit and the ego here. which is definitely like something that I've been actively working on as I got to the city, because the city is so masculine energy. It's go, go, go. And there's always something happening. It's very stimulating. There's always an event. And you have to really stay loyal to yourself, because it's going to test your spirit. And not just New York, it could be anywhere, any environment that you're in, you might feel that it's testing your spirit. And I find that those things happen for us to be stronger and more anchored in ourselves and our intentions and who we are, and not to be swayed so much by the outside, because we're our biggest source, first and foremost.
Yes. And I want to dive deep into there. How do you stay grounded? What are your practices, whether it's daily, whether it's weekly? How do you stay grounded in that self?
Wow, it's a good question. And I want to be so real that as I just moved to New York a month and a half ago, I'm still navigating this. But I do find that I'm leaning on a few different tools that help me. So the first one would be gratitude journaling. I gratitude journal every day, every morning. I've been doing it for years, and it just puts you in a good energy. No matter what bad day you had yesterday, you just open your journal and you start your day off with good intentions, like 5 minutes, writing down even 3 things that you're grateful for. It could be, I'm so grateful that I have a body, that I'm alive, that there's trees outside that are giving me oxygen. There's always something to be grateful for. Another thing is working out. For me, I love movement. So for me, I find that any form of movement. So after this, I have a dance workout, because I think dance is like a really beautiful way to connect to your body and to your energy and to your emotions. But that, I find that so grounding, just moving your body. And even if you're someone that's not a crazy, like, wanting to go do like CrossFit or HIIT workouts, but even just going on a walk and just breathing fresh air outside for 20 minutes.
My favorite is your hot girl walks.
I love my hot girl walks. And my
I literally say it to myself as I leave the house. I'm doing my hot girl walk.
I love it. I love it. I'm like always, and New York is amazing for it because you can walk anywhere. So I'm really enjoying that aspect of it. But I think just reminding yourself also that life is phases, and when we go through transitional phases, you're naturally not going to feel super grounded, and that's why you have to be more anchored into your spiritual practices. Because for me, when I moved to the city, like, I felt like my body wasn't grounded because my body physically wasn't used to like the energy, to the amount of people, to the noises. And now I hear an ambulance and I'm like, it's white noise. But when I got here, it was crazy. Like, I felt like it was putting my whole system in fight or flight. And so reminding yourself that like everything is temporary and your body knows how to ground itself and get used to itself. You just have to support it. A lot of times we go against our bodies. That's how I feel a lot about alcohol and drinking. I feel like I'm going against my body and its natural rhythm. It doesn't feel natural to me in any way to drink alcohol. I would rather be eating kiwis. I don't know.
No, and when you drink alcohol, your whole chemistry changes and your body actually tries to go back to homeostasis. So what I tell people is, even if you don't have a problem with alcohol, when you're ingesting it, it's a toxin that your body immediately starts to fight off. Exactly. That is not something I want in my body health-wise.
No, and when you realize how much you love your body and how much your health is important for you, like, we have one life, we have one body, let's take care of it. Everything shifts, at least for me.
Yeah, it's about that mind, body, spirit connection. It's truly about doing it all. That gratitude list you talked about is so great, because I actually do one, but I text it to friends. Ooh. And so that way I'm really held accountable, because I'm not in your community online, but I'm sure all your ladies are like all over the place with this stuff. So if you don't have a community, you can be in Kim's. But I find it really helpful to be held accountable to doing it, because that way, if I wake up in the morning and I forget and I'm complacent, at least by the end of the day, I'm like, oh, these 3 people are relying on me to send this, and that way they can send it back, or maybe I'll get one from a friend and I'll remember. Yeah. And it grounds you into the moment, and it grounds you into the present.
I believe so much in the power of community, especially for women, but for everyone. And I think it's so powerful to facilitate community. I feel like it's my soul's purpose to do it. And I do really resonate with what you said, because the girls inside my membership, they're talking 24/7. We have a WhatsApp chat, and there's always someone awake there. There's always someone helping. Someone's going through some dilemma. There's another girl that's going to support her. And I think it's really beautiful. Whatever your journey is, or your intention or goal for how to better your life, finding that like active community that's going to lift you up and support you, because I really believe that your environment is either caging you into this old identity of yourself, or it's going to push you into a higher version of you. So whether it's cutting out alcohol or being on a self-growth journey, connecting more to your self-love, maybe it's a mom's group, whatever it is, whoever is listening, finding that safe space in that community is so, so beautiful. And if you can't find it, you might have to be the one to create it. Because I created my membership and my podcast because I was craving that community. I was craving that space. I was craving that type of podcast. I was craving that type of membership. It didn't exist. I created it. If you're listening and you feel like, I need this community, where is it? You might be the one that having to create it.
Absolutely. That is resonating for me so deeply, because I think there's so many people in the spiritual space. There's so many people in, for me, the sobriety space. And I was like, who am I to start something? And then it was like, who am I not to? I loved one of your most recent episodes where you say everyone is equal. If you're looking to someone and putting them on a pedestal, they're not. They shouldn't be. Everyone is equal. Our energy is equal. But at the same time, I was craving this podcast because no one was offering this idea of you don't have to hit rock bottom to stay sober. And so tell us more about the work you do. Tell our listeners who don't know as much as I know.
Okay. So I'm a podcaster. So I have a weekly podcast. It's called Claim Your Power. This is how Caitlin found me and how we connected. But I've been podcasting in May, it's going to be 5 years.
That's amazing. Which, by the way, people just starting podcasts, this is a labor of love. You don't just start it and then it takes off. It's something that I heard can take 5 to 10 years. You really have to love it. Love what you do and the money will follow.
Yes. But also it doesn't have to take 5 years. I believe in quantum leaping. I know you were in my quantum leaping challenge, and
yes, which you have to tell them about at the end.
Okay, I will tell that at the end.
Yeah.
But I really believe anything is possible, but you do need to stay consistent with anything that you're doing in life, because it's not even about success, but rather it's showing to the universe, this is something that I want. I'm putting a lot of my energy on this, so then the universe can meet you halfway and give you the support and the resources. So I've been podcasting for almost 5 years, and it's called Claim Your Power. It's on self-development and self-love and spirituality. And when I started, there was no one listening. Like, I was just speaking to the wall, and that was me for about 1.5 years. And then I simultaneously also started posting on social media, because I just started with podcasting. Podcasting was like dipping my toe in the water. And then I started posting on TikTok. Again, it was very slow, but then there was a moment where it was just quantum leapt, and I got a lot of views and engagement. That caused my TikTok to blow up, people to come to the podcast. And that's what caused the podcast to grow and to create that beautiful community. And then just this past April, it was requested by so many people for me to actually create a live community from the podcast. So I launched Claim Your Power Membership, which is my membership community for women all over the world who are interested about personal growth and self-love and feminine energy and sisterhood. And it's a live container where we have workshops, we have live community calls. It's 24/7. There's always someone talking to you. You've got meditations. We have a ton of really, really cool meditations inside. We have journaling prompts. It's a beautiful, beautiful portal that I feel is so much more beyond me. I was kind of just the vessel creating it, but it's way beyond me at this point. It's held by so many women. It's a source of so much deep healing and love. And just this past week, the theme in September was inner child healing, and I had just gone on a call with the girls inside the membership on inner child healing, and the amount of girls, we were all crying, and it was so beautiful to have that space. And I feel so blessed and lucky to really even talking to you, I'm you're a reflection of me. The fact that you're in my community, I feel honored. You're beautiful, you're glowing. Look at this purpose that you're living. It's so beautiful. And to know that this is the type of people that I attract into my space, because I really believe the people we attract are reflections of where we are. And I think it's so beautiful for me to witness your success and your glow just as much as I'm sharing about mine. And so I just also want to say thank you for having me here. I feel so blessed, and I'm really grateful.
Oh, and this is the energy you get from Kim, you guys. When you listen to her, when you're in those containers with her, she's just a light. And I agree. It's one of those things. I think you even did a full episode on how women can uplift women. I think so often women tear each other down, or worse, mentally, you stare at someone on social media and you're like, I don't like this, I judge this. And it's all because you actually want it most of the time. You're like, why can't I have what they have? But
Yes.
I digress. I would love to hear, what do you find your community members struggling with the most? And then how do you support them in that?
I think the biggest thing is the feeling of being misunderstood. I think a lot of girls in my communities are coming for different reasons. I have women of all ages, all countries, all paths. But I think it's this common desire to want to be fully seen. And I really believe that's what my podcast is. That's what my membership is. It's a space for women to feel like they are safe. Because how crazy is the world that we live in? As women, it doesn't always feel safe. And to just have that space where you can be vulnerable, where you can know, wait, I'm not crazy. I'm going through a spiritual awakening. I'm not crazy. I'm not insane. I'm peeling the layers of my onion self. I'm getting to know myself. And knowing that you're supported, and it really taps into unity consciousness, which is something so powerful that I believe in.
Yes. And it is so often we're all going through the same things at once. You talking about the social media and feeling
Yes.
the ick from social media. I'm like, wait, that's just happening to me right now.
Yeah.
And I think being in community, it's like Gabor Mate says, the antidote to addiction is connection. And
Wow.
what you're offering is women connection and community, so that they don't go and use substances or, like we said, so overuse social media, overuse food. A lot of people eat because they're unhappy. Those types of things. You're offering people a place where they can go and they can spew their truth, say, this is how I'm really feeling. And I love that you said, want to be fully seen, because I think that's what you allow women so clearly. Sometimes I go on those hot girl walks, I stick in my headphones, I listen to a podcast by you, because that day I wanted to be seen, or I wanted to fully show up as myself and I wasn't feeling it. And then listening to the vibration that you're in changes my vibration, brings me around to a new thought process of, no, I am a hot girl. I'm on a hot girl walk. I'm going to go home. I'm going to believe in myself. And you can't do that alone. Like, yes, I have a higher power. Yes, I pray. I lean in. But I also think God speaks through people. And so that's what he's done with you for thousands of women.
I have goosebumps because every single time that I speak to someone that has listened to my podcast, I actually want to cry, because I don't think people understand that, like, this podcast and this community, like, saved my life as much as, like, it saved somebody else's. And when you're podcasting or, like, you're doing anything, like, on social media, you don't really, like, you're not actively, like, teaching a classroom where you see people. So you get these messages, but there's not always, like, a face to the message, and it's so beautiful to get them. But then to hear it from someone and see their face, and, like, sometimes I will go on the street in New York and someone will recognize me, and I'm just like, I'm always in awe of it time and time again, because it just shows me how powerful it is and what a ripple effect it creates when one woman steps into her soul's purpose. That's what I wanted to say about my membership too, is it's not just about being fully seen and feeling safe, but it's also about taking that energy. How do these women become higher versions of themselves? Some of the women inside my membership that were there from the beginning, the shifts that I see in them, I actually just got a message yesterday via email from this girl telling me that from my challenge and my membership, she always used to have stage fright, and she always had a lot of self-doubt and, like, doubted herself. And the other day she gave a speech in front of 150 people for the first time. She said she didn't feel nervous. She felt super confident, super proud of herself. And just, like, getting that email, that's crazy, because being afraid of being on stage, it's a big fear to get over. And the fact that she was just able to do that all on her own and share that with me warms my heart.
Yeah, and it's the being of service thing. By you being of service and helping
Yes.
someone else, then they then in turn help you. And it's that fulfilling feeling, I guess. That's why I do what I do. And you're right. So much of what we do is not always validated. We don't always get to hear who's listening. We don't know. There's just numbers on a ticker. Yes. And so it is so good to hear that it's helpful, but also that what you're doing is helping that person, but then it's cyclical and it comes back and it fulfills you as well.
It has to fulfill you. And people feel that. People feel when it fulfills you because then it fulfills them. And that's what I said about unity consciousness. Unity consciousness is all about understanding that we're all one. And so the way I treat somebody else is also a reflection of me. The way somebody else treats me is a reflection of them. And so speaking back to how I manifested this apartment, for instance, when we were talking about the reason I was able to manifest this apartment, which by the way, so many people were like, you're never going to find this. You need a realtor, da, 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 da. The reason I was really able to manifest it is not because I wanted it, but because I tapped into the unity consciousness of it. I understood that by me having this beautiful space, I will be able to be more of service because I will wake up and I will be more inspired. I will look outside my window and I will get motivation. I will feel safe. I will feel expanded. And so byproduct, me living in this space is going to help awaken and raise the consciousness of more people around the world. And so whatever it is that you're trying to manifest it, the basic level is I want this so that it fulfills this, the ego part of us, which we all have. The high consciousness level is I want this because by me having this, I will create more of this in the world. And the universe loves a grateful heart, and the universe loves to give to people who are in service because it's helping raise the collective consciousness. So you doing this podcast is not just about you. So the universe has to bring the right people to you because this is bigger than you. What you're doing is supposed to help so many other people. Therefore, the right people are meant to find you because it's in the universe's interest that they do.
Exactly. I resonate so deeply with so much of that. And Kim and I were talking before the show about how she doesn't do interviews yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing who is attracted and who she brings in to have on because she has this much intention behind everything she does. And this is what I strive for as well, is to understand that it is the feeling of what you're doing, creating something not from the ego and not because everyone else has a private jet that I see on Instagram and everyone else has this and I want something really nice and bougie. There's a Kabbalist named Kathy Heller. She has a book about abundance that just recently came out, I believe, and I'm listening to it. And she talks about how she has a nice car and why she wants a nice car and how it's not a bad thing. And I started to listen really closely because right now I have a nice car and I'm like, sometimes I feel guilty. But I'm listening and she says the reason that you want a nice car, or at least for her, is not because of her ego and the logo on the outside. It is because when she is sitting in the car and she is listening to music, she hears the music through really nice speakers, which then gives her that feeling inside of herself that gets her into the rhythm. She's really into music. And then she's, driving through and she talks about a bunch of other stuff that happens within the car that is about the feeling of it. It isn't just about having the thing. And so it's the same thing. Can I get myself somewhere safely would be another one, right? So I totally agree.
Love that.
Yeah, and how you manifested your apartment. Okay, so I want to get into, because we don't have very much time left, I want to get into your 21-day challenge, quantum leaping, and how I just did her previous one, but how she's coming up with another. Tell our listener about it, what happens, and then what have you seen from your members? How have they grown? What's, an experience they've had?
Do you want to first share your experience? Because I want to hear, actually.
I have so many. I took this thing with me to Bali. I would do it.
Oh my gosh, so it's powerful. It's like extra charged.
Yeah. So you do it and you're like, can I really do 21 days? Because I don't know about the listener, but I have 3 kids and it's, mornings are busy. So I got to wake up. I got to do this. And so you do Kim's meditation, which by the way, your voice is so soothing. It's so perfect. And it's one meditation for the whole 21 days, which I also loved. You didn't have to make it some crazy thing, but you're just you get into the energy and alignment of where your head was at when you recorded it. And then from there, writing down in a way of saying, I am so grateful now that and then what I can call in just from writing down. And for me, it was more about not necessarily significant amounts of money. Like a lot of people, I think, call in money for abundance, which, by the way, I got dropped a random check during that time. So I know for sure that was one of the things I received for sure.
Okay.
But at the same time, it was more like opportunities. I ended up going to church one day with a friend, and we were supposed to go to brunch after. And she comes to me halfway through church and she goes, I just got box seats to the first game at the Rams. Should we do that instead of brunch? And I was like, yep. I know this is because I've been the 21-day challenge.
I love that so much.
Yeah, so lots of opportunities just coming in left and right. That's what I've received. So tell our listener how they can do it. What would they do if they were to sign up for the 21-day challenge?
So I will send you the link. So we'll link it in the show notes. But the 21-day challenge, it starts this November 1st to November 21st. And it's my Quantum Leap Challenge. So the Quantum Leap Challenge is essentially a challenge that I channeled in the middle of the night. It was not something planned. Like the way that it was like downloaded to me, and within 5 hours, I already had the full idea of what I'm doing. The next day I filmed the meditation, everything, like it was out. And that's how I know it was from God and it was from the universe, when it was so quick and it just flowed through me and there wasn't any resistance for it because it like needed to get out. And so we've already had 2 rounds for it. November will be the 3rd round of it. We've had hundreds of women already do the challenge, and I have so many testimonials. I'm trying to think of like my coolest ones that I really, really loved. But essentially the challenge
I love the Taylor Swift one.
Okay, so I'll share about the Taylor Swift one. So it's 21 days, and it takes as little as 15 minutes each morning. And it's essentially a challenge where you're reprogramming your unconscious mind and your energy field towards a higher timeline. Because the quantum field, everything exists. All possibilities exist. And through our energy, through our intentions, through our conscious action, we can shift into a higher timeline like this. A lot of people think that it takes years for us to shift something, when in reality, and by the way, the first round of me doing the Quantum Leap Challenge, I manifested my apartment and I signed the lease on the last day of the challenge, which was crazy because that's what I was using the challenge to manifest in my life. But it really is powerful work, and it's consistent of a meditation that you mentioned, daily journaling, and an energetic activation. And you also get a daily email from me with tons of information and a lot of really good energy in your inbox. But I'm trying to think of my favorite ones because I think they're all my favorite. But the Taylor Swift one, I had one of the girls, I think within like 4 days, she manifested working with Taylor Swift. And I just had landed in New York to look for apartments because this was right at the beginning of the challenge. And I remember I opened my DM. And she was like, Kim, I'm freaking out. I just got to like work with Taylor Swift at my job. She's my like everything. This is like a dream come true. Your challenge works. I was like, oh my God. This isn't me. Like, this is God's work. Like, I'm just the vessel for it. I had another girl. She was doing some conference for something in her business. And she wanted to get more signups, and she was supposed to have a small ad to like be in the news for it, but then it ended up falling through. And she was a bit disappointed and doubted. And then she did the challenge. She went to her other job, which was like a bartending job. And then she's serving her 2 customers, and they just start talking. And then she asked them where they work. Turns out they work for NBC News. She tells them about her business. Next thing you know, she is literally on NBC News, getting a feature on national news for her business. And that same girl, actually, she did my challenge the 2nd round too, and I just got this email from her, and she said she manifested like a random like $1,500 from the challenge this month, which is also crazy. Nice. I've had women feel confident to finally travel the world. Like I had someone book a trip and like go around the world for the first time. I had a girl get engaged. It's just crazy.
It is. I actually think my recent trip to Bali happened within the 21-day challenge. I think right on the cusp of it, right in the beginning, I was
Yes.
booking my travel and this is because I'm in alignment with the quantum leap.
But also, I want to say that those are very like big things that happen, and there were very a lot of big things. And at the same time, the challenge is also just as powerful if it shifts something small in your life as well. Like I had women feel more confident in their body. They said within 21 days they felt confident. I had a woman, I just remembered another woman that was doing the challenge because she wanted more social media virality. And she said by day 2, she was already offered a brand partnership, her first ever brand partnership. So the beautiful thing I think about the challenge is, first of all, you get lifetime access to it. So you can come back to it whenever in different phases of your life. So maybe the first round you're doing it, it's more just about balancing your energy field. Then the second round that you do it a couple months later, you're like, okay, I'm going to go big. Like I'm going to manifest something. And you actively use your energy, because what you're doing is you're rewiring your entire energetic field. And I think that's really, really powerful. And I believe in it in all my heart, because I've seen it on my life. I've seen it on my clients' lives. And I think that if you're listening to this and you feel called to make a shift in your life in just 21 days, then definitely check out the challenge, because it's a very, very beautiful transformational experience that you can give to yourself.
Yeah, and it's a great way to test the waters too. If you're not ready to dive right into the community, it's
Yes.
cool to just do 21 days, go inward, do your own thing, and then you kind of crave talking to other women about it.
Yeah.
I want to know too, if someone that you're working with or that you hear from feels kind of blocked or resistant, how can they soften into this process? Some people are really blocked from a higher power talking about vibrations. When this person feels blocked or resistant, how can they soften into coming into their own?
I think acceptance, we so often resist resistance. So we're like, "Ugh," when really we just need to like relax for a second and accept that maybe not everything's going right now, and maybe this fell apart, maybe I got rejected here, and maybe I'm not in like a rainbows and unicorns and la 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 phase in my life right now, and that's okay. And I'm gonna stop resisting the resistance, and I'm gonna make peace with the resistance, and I'm gonna befriend the resistance. How can I befriend my resistance? Why is it here? Because when I understand why it's here and what it's trying to teach me, it will dissipate on its own, because it's energy. So if I befriend my resistance, and instead of fighting it, I'm going to ask myself, why are you here? What are you trying to teach me about myself? And I sit with it. Giving yourself permission to sit with it, you're already ahead of like most people in this world right now. The fact that you just sit with yourself for a second and say, you know what, I'm not feeling great right now, and I'm going to give myself the space to try to understand myself on a deeper level. And I think almost anything that we go through in life is a deep calling back to self-love. It doesn't matter where. It could be in your relationships, it could be in your career, in your friendships, in your health issues. It's always a deep call back to self-love, no matter where it is. So ask yourself, how can I love myself more through this? What do I need right now? We're always thinking about what they need, or what other people around us need, or what other people think. And especially I think as women, and I'm sure as a mom too. And I think, first of all, girl, inspiration. Like I keep talking to moms this week, and I'm obsessed. I am like obsessed with you guys, because I think the fact that like you guys are raising children, which is the future of everything, and you're healthy and you're taking care of yourselves and you're doing inner work and you're doing your soul's purpose. I'm inspired, and I can't wait to be a mom one day, and I know that it's probably like one of the most spiritual experiences ever as well.
Yeah, and they call it conscious parenting for a reason, because you're constantly tested. And like you're saying about this pause and taking care of yourself, so many moms don't take the opportunity to do that. And that's what I drank over. I don't have time to pause, but I have time to open a bottle of wine and pour myself a glass. Like
Wow.
pour me. And I
Wow.
love everything you're saying, because you can apply it to alcohol.
Yeah, so I find that giving yourself all of that love is so, so important, because it's not just about you, it's about other people in your life. I know that if I go to sleep really, really late, the day that I have the next day a live call for my membership, and I didn't take care of myself, or even, this is very deep, but even if I open my phone and answer messages or hang out with a friend who's going through something and needs a lot of my energy, an hour before the live call, I know that I'm going to be in an empty cup and I'm not going to be able to serve other people. So I know that if I want to pour more to other people, before that, I first need to make sure that my cup is full so that I can be a better person, a better friend, a better daughter, a better partner. So I can just be a better human being for other people. So we really can't pour from an empty cup. And that's why giving yourself that self-love and knowing that, okay, if I'm a better person and friend to me and partner to myself, I'm gonna show up better for other people in my life. And that's why I'm so inspired by moms. It's so interesting because I've had this theme where I'm meeting these amazing moms. This week I also met another mom that's in my grad school at Columbia, and she's so badass. She's a mom, she's a professor, she's doing the grad school, and I'm just so inspired because I think women are the coolest creatures ever, and we're so powerful. And rarely do we sit down for a second and say, we're powerful, we're so strong, and we have such a magnetic energy, and we have a life force. We literally create life, and not just birth children, but like through our energy. And I think that's something so beautiful that we always have to recognize. And also for the men listening, like, recognize men's power. Men have such immense power on society. They protect, they provide, they create safe spaces, they are leaders. And I think that anyone that's listening that's on a self-development journey, like sitting and like recognizing just how powerful your soul is, even if you're not exactly where you want to be, is so crucial, because we're so hard on ourselves, and we need to, as a society and culture in general, create and facilitate more compassion for ourselves and for others.
Absolutely. And I think what you have said, I believe on a podcast, or maybe it was on your social media, where we make these small choices every day. So if you are somewhere where you don't want to be, like, I'm not who I fully want to be yet. Okay, well, what's the small choice you can make to get you there? Because it's not about leaping across the whole ocean. It's about, how can I just take that first step into who I want to be? And am I making conscious choices? It's one of those things where I work with clients on this in my coaching, and it's all about how the small micro actions lead up to the big outcome. It's not the big choice I made to go to Bali that leads me to this. It's, what am I doing this morning to prepare for this podcast? Like you said, sorry for my mom listening, but I don't call my mother. I don't call my mother before a podcast because it tends to deplete my energy. And it's not just my mother. I love you, Mom. It is calling anyone, like you said, making the choice to check an email before this. No, I actually did some ecstatic dance. I go into meditation. I shake some energy from my body. Those are choices I've made to show up in this light. And like you said today, you can see that light. And that's what you're talking about, is just those micro actions. And we can take them at any time, even after this call. It's a choice we make. The next thing you're going to do is go to a dance class. You're not going to go out to a bar and pick up a drink.
No.
Yeah.
I'm going to go shake some ass.
Yeah, exactly. But I think so many women are uncomfortable in their bodies and they don't know how to do that. So if you are feeling that way, trust me, I actually don't do a static dance in dance classes. I just do it at home alone.
That's totally fine. And I think also you feel more comfortable the more that you do it.
Exactly.
You give yourself permission to be uncomfortable at the beginning.
Yes. And then you see that it's not as crazy as it feels. And now, like last night, I went on a walk because I had all this extra energy. I think I had a little too much caffeine. And I was shaking my hands as I was walking because I went to this embodiment class where they said, like, you can get rid of energy by shaking it out, literally shaking it out of your body. So I want to know some practices. You said you do, a dance class, whether it is a meditation. What is your favorite go-to thing that you do to shake off some energy or to get into alignment?
Honestly, shaking is a big one for me. I love to put either shaking like vibrational music or, so random, but Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
Like, I love dancing, or like Happy by Pharrell, like those songs that just like put you in a good energy and you just dance. For me, dance, I mean, I grew up dancing. I've been a dancer since I was 3. So for me, it's connecting to my inner child. But I think if you're not a dancer, you can always find a completely different outlet. Maybe for you, it's writing. Maybe for you, it's going on a walk. Maybe it's running. Maybe it's cooking. You know, I have a friend that is like, the way she resets her energy is by baking. Like, she loves to bake because she uses her hands and like she puts the energy. Like, girl, I wish I was like that. Like, I really want to I wish I was that type of girl, because I think it's so fun to like know how to cook well and stuff, but unfortunately I'm not, but maybe I'll get better at it. But I think like finding your niche, just asking yourself, like, if you could have an hour to yourself and like do whatever it is that you want to do, what would it be? And how would you spend that time?
Absolutely. And what I want to tell the listener is I used to, like I said, open a bottle of wine over it instead of asking myself, do I actually want to bake some chocolate? My thing is banana chocolate chip muffins when I'm
You're a
feeling a
baker?
certain. I dated a guy who was like, oh no, you're baking. Are you okay? Because it was my meditative process. I would just go, and I don't like to cook because you have to throw in ingredients and not know the amounts. I like baking because you measure and you know how much is going in. So it's very cathartic for me to do that. So it's funny that you said that. And then also, like I said, doing these practices that Kim just said instead of picking up a drink. Try something new. Instead of meeting friends for a happy hour, go meet friends for a coffee walk. Just try something that feels good to your soul, that actually fills you up, that you're not then having to wean from a hangover.
Yeah. And doing things out of your comfort zone, I find challenging yourself to actively get out of your comfort zone is so, so powerful, because it shifts you out of an old energy and into a new one. So if you're used to responding to a certain situation or certain emotion in one way, and then you respond to it differently by, okay, I'm feeling sad right now. What do I usually do? I numb my emotion. I scroll on social media for 2 hours. I rant and dump it on people that I love without actually like validating my own emotions. Okay, let me take a moment. Pause. I'm feeling sad right now. What do I actually need? I need a hug from myself. I need a good cup of tea. I need to journal it out. I need to watch an episode of Friends and laugh. Whatever it is, but asking yourself, how do I become my own safe space? Because life is full of ups and downs. Even the more spiritual you are, the more you know, the less you know. And I don't think life necessarily gets easier, but you have more awareness to deal with the lessons and the experiences that our soul is going on in her path, or in its path. And I think that's my big understanding, is there's not one size fits all, or one thing that's it. You're going to be spiritual and on cloud 9 and all of your chakras are open and everything. No, it's about constantly coming home to yourself time and time again, because when you come home to yourself, you come home to source, God, the universe, whatever term resonates with you. And that's what life is truly about, is understanding. And I was just talking to one of my clients about this, is understanding that you will be able to handle anything that comes your way, because the universe will never send you a lesson that you can't handle. And you have the tools and all the mighty power inside of you to handle it. A lot more than you actually think about yourself. Like, we're very humble about ourselves, but we actually have more power than we think.
Yes, and that's why I love your message of claim your power. And it does all begin within. And you have to look at it, you have to address it. So before we go, I want to do some rapid fire questions. It's just a couple. Okay. What is one book or teacher who's influenced you the most?
I love the 4 Agreements. And they actually just sent me, there's a new edition copy to it, and they just sent me Penguin Publishing Group, so I'm excited to read it again. But I think it's just a really good starter book for anyone who's like starting their spiritual path. I love The Alchemist. I love Gabby Bernstein. I think she's awesome. Dr. Wayne Dyer. Sorry, you asked me for one, and I'm like...
I'm all about it. I'm like, even in the acknowledgments in my book, I literally thank Gabby Bernstein, Wayne Dyer, Abraham Hicks, my spiritual teachers along this path. I got to see Wayne Dyer once in person before he died. That was special. Yeah, she actually, in a conversation with Abraham.
Wow, that is really so cool.
Yeah, so I love that we're on this path together. Okay, what's your go-to grounding practice when life feels chaotic?
Sitting outside on the grass and just like breathing the fresh air. Although I know some people listening to this might not have grass near them, and I know that I'm not going to have grass in like a month in New York when it's winter. So I actually just got a red light therapy where you sit under it and you meditate under it. I find that also very grounding if you don't have nature near you.
Yep, and I bought mine on Amazon. I bought a little box. I saw you hung yours up. I didn't hang mine, but I sit in front of it and I meditate, so I'm the same. Okay, last one. What's one of your favorite parts about the work you get to do with your community members?
Seeing women step into their soul's highest path and
Yes.
witnessing it in my own eyes.
Yeah, and getting to hear about it. I love that you get to hear about it every day. Okay, there's a trend on social media called I Had Coffee with My Younger Self. If you could meet your younger self for coffee, what would you tell her?
To not force things because there's never mistakes in the universe. To stay true to herself even when life is and the surroundings are very loud, and that you can't ever lose anything that is actually meant for you.
That's such a good one, and something I've heard you say time and time again on your podcast, especially about love and breakups. So we don't have time to go there today, but hopefully you can come back and we'll talk all about relationships. That'd be a fun one.
Yes.
All right. Where can people connect with you? Tell us where they can find you.
My podcast is Claim Your Power on all platforms. You can find me on @Kim Peretz on Instagram or @Claim Your Power Pod on Instagram. ClaimYourPowerMembership.com is my membership, and if you're interested in joining the November round of the Quantum Leap Challenge, my TikTok is @Kim Peretz with an extra Z.
Okay, perfect. And I will link all of this in the show notes. So if anybody wants to look below, go find Kim. She is such a light in this world. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. You're wonderful. I'm so happy and excited for you and where this podcast is going to go in the future. And just thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.